Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do Lobo Unbound, issue number 1 of 6 by DC Comics, from DC Comics, but it made by Keith Giffen, one of my favorites. Alex Horley, I haven't seen that name in a while, but this is a book from 2003, I guess, yeah. And I like my Lobo. I think Lobo is one of the best characters in DC Comics, probably the most unhinged and the most funny, if you like that kind of humor. I think he's the best. We're gonna see if this is actually good. So we're gonna go in and, well, now bear with me, guys. This is not the art that is in this book. I mean, Alex Horley is a painter, and we see basically more the origin in a cartoony way of Lobo. You can pause the video if you want to read it. I'm going to show you this page as well. Basically, he just murdered his own race because he wants to be unique. So the whole Gazarnian race has been eliminated, and now he's happy with what he's doing. His goal is to get rich and maiming and killing and all that stuff, right? He's truly a despicable character, but it makes him so fun and great. Anyway, so he is here, and so as you can see, the art is immediately very good. It's painted. Deja vu the movie. So he is here at the, I don't know where it is, this planet or outpost, I guess. So he says, or this girl says, "Hey, you know what would be Lobo? Would that be first or last name?" "Yeah," he says. "I don't see your name here. Your appointment was for what time?" "Anytime." So you immediately know what kind of guy he is. "I see you don't have an appointment. So this is Dottie Free Q." So basically, Lobo, by the way, this is great book. If you get this comic or this trade paperback, get it. It's really, really fun. I got this as well. And I believe I reviewed it on my channel. Yes, look it up. It's going to be great. And if you like what you see, subscribe and all that jazz. You know the drill. So yeah, Lobo is here, and he is a little bit built a little bit differently. He's now look like a tank, and spikes are coming now out of his arm. What? Anyway, so he wants to see a guy, and Dottie here says, "Hey, he can't because Mr. Giganti is very busy, right?" So Lobo insists that he will see him. He says he's a meeting. Big surprise here. "I could make an appointment for you." "No smoking. He'll see me now." So she calls Mr. Giganti, and so she says, "Hey, we got a Mr. Lobo here." And so what is this all about? 20,000 credits, dead or alive. "Do you have any preference?" she says to him. So she says, "Hey, we set up an appointment, right?" And so this Giganti, and when I look at this page, it didn't click. I'll sorry, I keep laughing all this crazy stuff that Giffen is putting it all in, right? There is something on this page that I didn't see before. So this guy tried to convince Lobo not to bring him in, dead or alive, right? And he says, I'm going to triple the fee. And then Lobo, he's a man of his word. He doesn't break contract. So it's not going to work. And so he says, there is no wiggle room. I don't suppose it matters to you that my particular species, Humungus scroticus, is protected by the Pan-Galactic Endangered Species Act. I'm looking like I give a damn. Speaking of scrotus, any chance you stashing them under the table? So, yeah, these things are his balls. He says, "How do you find me?" I'm asking around. So, yeah, well, it doesn't matter. So, way to work old gag reflex, nutsack, because he says that he doesn't want to part with his balls, right? So, Lobo says, "Okay, how are we going to do this, right?" And then, this is happening. And yeah, battle time. He uses his balls. Oh my God, it's so crazy. I just love Lobo comics. It's just all over the top, super crazy. I like that. And he says, "Prophet forgives all, bounty hunter. You might want to keep that in mind. Good to know. I'll file it between blow out your bunghole and who gives a crap. Yeah, a lot. So, so he says, "Hey, don't even think about hitting me with that." But he's doing exactly that, and so he says, "Nobody here cares what I do nor who I do it to. As long as the credits keep rolling, I am untouchable." Right? But Lobo is pretty, let's say, basically immortal. He made a deal with God, so if only one spatter of blood is surviving, he can regenerate. And it was also a while ago in another book that there was thousands of Lobos because he was dismembered and all the other Lobos regenerated. It's crazy stuff. So Lobo says, "Hey, I give you one chance," and but he says, "Okay, screw it." So he's hitting him, and this guy is laughing, although he's getting hit, and he's bragging about that he can do whatever he wants, killing and people here, and people are praising for him right now. So they give him a 4 out of 5 stars, and even the news, outlet says that this was raved and blood spattered spectacular. A balls to the walls blockbuster. You ever see press like that, Bounty Hunter? I'm an auteur. Best you believe it. That's all it is. The French love me, he says. Yeah, that figures. Also, the light is shining through him because he's full of holes. I'm sorry, I keep laughing. I just read it a minute ago, and I keep laughing. So he says, "Hey, what's going on, main man? Out of options." And yeah, I'm trying to be a nice guy, but then Lobo does this. He's throwing some kind of grenade, and man, this nuclear bomb was set off. And I love the lighting, man. Just with all the shading and shadows, and it looks really, really good. Yeah. So props to Alex HORLEY. He was a great painter. He did a lot of back in the day. He was along with Simon Bisley. They are doing mostly the same kind of arts and stuff, with monsters and big dudes and muscles and fantasy stuff, right? So, but I'm not hearing much from Alex HORLEY, unfortunately. I believe he did some covers as well for a very long time. But hey, okay, let's move on. So yeah, Lobo goes back to, the guy that asked him to do the bounty. And then we see the news that best estimates stand over 3,000 dead. God only knows how many injured. Back to you, homie. So he's still smoking. So this guy says, "Hey, he's dead." He says, "Yeah." "Did you take him down?" "I took him down," he says. "Enough to left a positive ID." And so he's pushing that to show him. Lobo just throw his balls on this guy. But he's a little bit depressed. And what's going on here? Look at that. So he looks in the mirror. He's not very happy. And I believe he is not happy because he's working for people, for a living. I mean, he's a bounty hunter, right? But it seems that something is off. So he goes to Long Pig and Brew. And he's meeting with the big guy. And this is the main guy, he's not coming. And he's meeting with this guy, right? And there's some jokes here that's just dry humor. And it seems that this guy has another job for Lobo. And it will give him health 1 billion. So Lobo is, of course, interested. And what is this? Is this a chop shop or something? I see people getting butchered and hanged or whatever. Anyway, so he says, "You go to Hedon 7 in the Malaki Market District. They will find you." Okay, so Lobo is going there. And but they're still talking. And this is the part that drags a little bit here because it goes on for a little bit too long. And so this guy says, "Hey, why is a guy like you working for a guy like me?" And Lobo just walks away, right? So I'm not sure what's going on, but he's not really happy with that. So he goes to Hedon 7, and this is typical Keith Giffen stuff with all this, weird creatures and sex dolls and all that stuff. He says, "Find a tourist. which is a little bit out of character because Lobo normally doesn't mind, having some fun with the girls, if you know what I mean, right? But then it seems that this is his informant person, right? But then I noticed that the voice is coming up from this doll that looks, I don't know, completely out, but between its legs from the sex doll or whatever. So he's sitting there and word's out that the main man's hurting bad, taking on too much, paying too little. I've seen better than half a bill. Put the main man right back on track. Half a bill would, eh? And he says, this is going to take much longer. You guys really grossing me out here. Well, excuse us for being born crabs. So these are crabs between your legs if you are not very careful with your health. So these are sentient crabs, and they how do you say, control the host? I'm not sure how it works. And he says, go to the hassle of hijacking a chassis that's easy on the eyes, and this is the thanks we get. He says, are you done? And it drinks also some, I don't know, liquor between the legs. It's just all very over the top. But again, also this part drags, so it seems that the crabs person guy says, hey, do you know about the far rim situation? So far rim is, I believe, is some kind of a place, and things are a little bit tense there. They need to ramp up the tension. I mean, that's the goal of what Lobo should be doing, because that's the good for the clients and all that stuff. And so yeah, got a jerk weasel out there, ain't playing ball with the big boys. We're talking liability, catch my drift. Is this guy from that old science fiction movie, from the 60s or 50s or something? Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, so he takes on the job, and he say, hey, got the contract right here. What? And so he's grabbing the contract between the legs, and everybody's looking. Left now, right? Up a bit. Almost got it. Still biting your nails, I see. This crap I gotta put up with. Anyway, so he's fleeing outside because he's grossed out. So he says, hey, does this smell weird? And this guy's falling down. And now he thinks about cutting off his arm because the odor is not disappearing. And then he does this. And then, well, maybe it's very useful. And that leads us to the next issue, right? So I'm not sure what he's going to do with his stinky hand. Maybe that's a plot point. Maybe we forget about it in issue number 2. Who knows? So yeah, this I like it because art is great. The storytelling is fun, but it drags out, and after the middle of the book. We're gonna see if it's holding up. In 6 issues, we're gonna review everything, and I'll let you know, of course, if it's good or if it's bad. So guys, thank you for sticking around. See you next time. Really appreciate it. Bye bye.